Alright, you guys, this is the first of my narrated Wi-Fi battle series. This is an old battle of mine between me and CrushEd from the Maryland forums. I start out with Infernape, he starts out with Yon Mega. I figured I'm going to switch to Employing because I resist both of its stab attacks, and it protects, thinking I would actually attack it. I take the Hypnosis because I have no safe switch for a sleeper. So he switches to something that could break Empoleon, which is Electivire. I get a one-turn wait, so I use Stealth Rock. I use Protect for the sake of seeing if this is a mixed Vire, because a mixed Vire would make it hard for me to switch into this, my Wheezing. So he uses Cross Chop, and I take Cross Chop really well because it's Wheezing, and that's what he does. So I Will-O-Wisp. I'm not really sure what to expect, what he'll switch into. He sends out Suicune, which really terrifies me because I'm not really used to fighting these things, and my team doesn't have a lot that could fight it. So I'm expecting that he's going to roar to scope out my team, so I figured I'm going to let him, but instead he Calm Minds, which really sucks. So Wheezing uses Thunderbolt, and I luck, and for Recall Rod I get a crit. Yeah, I do get a crit, which is pretty cool for me, but then I realize it's going to start setting up and I might be screwed, so I switch to Empoleon, and it rests. And in retrospect, that was a bad switch on mine because this Empoleon only has Surf as its attack, so I don't really have much that can wall this thing. So I switch into Heracross since it's asleep, but then I realize it's a Sleep Talker set, so that's even worse for me. So switching a physical attacker into a physical wall, I was hoping to play the idea that this was a Choice Band-Heracross, even though this is a Scarf Cross. So he has a Skarmory, I try Mega Horn, it misses. So I figured, crap, I'm screwed. I'm locked into this move. I switch. For Kari, I switch into Infernape. I do, and Infernape takes the Drill Peck barely. Ugh, man. I'm guessing he has Attack EVs invested. So Flamethrower is pretty obvious, but I wasn't sure what else he had on his team, so I went for it anyway. So I go with Flamethrower. I believe that's a Blaze-boosted Flamethrower, and it does quite a bit to his Infernape. And my stupid ass thought that I could actually outspeed this thing, so I lose the speed tie and I get Earthquake. So I figured it's a physical version, so I'm gonna use my Salamence since it walls it pretty well. It switches. I use Hydro Pump, which in retrospect was a really stupid move because it's a really shaky move. So I figured he switches back to Yon Mega. I figured he's gonna Protect, so I'm gonna switch in Electivire, because I know for a fact this thing can take one Bug Buzz. So I'm going to start pelting him with Ice Punches. Not Thunder Punches, because I'm afraid of hitting that Motor Drive on his Electivire. So I Ice Punch, that's one dead bug. Now, right here he sends out his own Electivire. I figured he might expect that mine's the predictable Electivire, and he might have something faster like a Jolly Natured. So I decided to switch out to Wheezing, which was the obvious switch. And since I knew that he had an Infernape in his collection, I knew he was going to switch out, but if I use Will-O-Wisp, it'll mean nothing. So I decided to go with Thunderbolt, which was pretty ballsy because I could have activated Electivire's Motor Drive. But it pays off and I get to take out his Infernape with that shot. He sends out Tyranitar, which is a pretty obvious Tyranitar or Tyranny Boa moveset because you wouldn't send a Tyranitar out on a physical wall like Wheezing. But I'm not going to sound too cocky because my stupid ass knew it, but I still went for Will-O-Wisp. So I figured it's probably going to pelt me with special attacks. Now, I know Wheezing can take a couple special attacks from a Tyranitar. Not very well, but it can take a couple hits on the other spectrum. So I go with Thunderbolt, hoping I could break the sub, and yeah, look how that went for me. So I knew I was screwed, so I needed to figure out some way to break this Tyranitar. So I decided to switch to Empoleon knowing another special attack was coming. Now I knew it was going to Focus Punch eventually, I wasn't sure when, so I decided to Protect for the hell of it, just to see if he was expecting it. I guess he predicted that I was going to Protect since I've always started off with Protect. So I go Surf to break the substitute, and he hits me with Focus Punch, and I think that kills my Empoleon. Yes it does. Sad face. Alright, so this is a pretty obvious, pretty standard Tyranny Boa set. I decided to go with Electivire because I want to keep my other guys fresh because there's a sandstorm brewing. And I might as well let Electivire do his thing because he's getting tired. So I go with Cross Chop, the pretty obvious move, and he switches to Skarm, which I should have expected that and went with Thunder Punch, but I just wanted to play it safe right now because I already knew his whole team and I knew what to expect. By switching my Salamence, which is a Specsman's moveset. Now, the obvious move would be Flamethrower, but I knew he had Suicune on his team, so I decided to go with Draco Meteor. And whoo! Man, that paid off for me. Draco Meteor takes quite a chunk of health from whatever that Wonder Dog. Suicune, man, I am fucking stupid. Anyways, I go with another Draco Meteor that knocks out Suicune. I guess he just kept it in because he knew it was screwed. So I have one shot of Draco Meteor left. He switches into, or he sends out Tyranitar, which is a pretty good choice because I have to switch and it can set up a sub. I send Electivire back in just so I could, like I said, I wanted to keep my guys fresh, or my other guys fresh. So I figured with Sandstorm brewing, this is the last thing I'm going to do with Electivire. I need to break this guy's sub so the rest of my guys can take this guy out with no sweat. I break his sub with the EQ. Yeah. There we go. And then I send out my Heracross. And I'm guessing he's thinking of what could be a feasible switch. I'm guessing he didn't switch to Skarm before because, or he didn't switch to Skarm now because of the way I played it. I was hoping to create the illusion that it was a Choice Band-Heracross. So maybe that may have paid off for me. And he's in deep thought apparently, even though he only has an Electivire and a Skarmory left. So he sends out Electivire. At close combat, I figured Electivire doesn't have the defense to take something like that. And the Sandstorm rages. Whee! And all he's left now is with the Skarmory. Now I know an easy move would be to switch to Salamence, but I really didn't care. I was like, I don't really care about my score at the end. Like a win's a win to me. So yeah, after 2 defense drops and a 4x weakness to Drill Peck, I get knocked down, or my Heracross gets knocked down. I don't speak English. And yeah, I have Salamence out, I finish it off with Flamethrower, and that's it.